Hello again, folks, and welcome to Bigfoot Hunting with Buck Johnson. Today I got a special episode for you. We're out here in some great God's country up here in Newhouse. Made a new friend I think we're going to bring on the show, and he's an expert tracker and a man who has a vast knowledge of Bigfoot. Let me introduce you to Mr. Willy Rydell. Mr. Willy Rydell, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Yes, sir. Like I said, like Buck said, I'm Willy Rydell, and we be pleased to collaborate with one another. We met each other a few years ago and decided to put our years of combined experience together to bring you the knowledge of Bigfoot that we have combined here.
That's exactly right. And now, Willie, you've lived up in Newhouse for how many years you say now?
That's right, about 27.
27 years. So this man knows this area like the back of his calf, I'm pretty sure. So if you look out here behind us, folks, we've got a vast area of land out here that Mr. Willy Rydell has been so kind to let us come out and investigate. He's even got a faithful tracking dog, Annie, and she'll be coming in front. Annie, come here. Let's do the faithful tracking dog.
Yeah.
Now this dog right here, you'll see her, she's out of frame a little bit, but this dog right here can sniff stuff off from about 10, 12 miles. She can track a Bigfoot.
That's
so
right.
Willie, what do you think? We should get started.
I think we could. I think the best thing we could do is lay us a trap
All right.
for him, and then we could come back later and evaluate if we got one or not, or that sort of thing.
I think I got just a trap for that.
All right.
I feel like it works down in Earl and just might work up here.
That might do it.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, folks, we now are out here where we're going to be. Mr. Willy Rydell has helped us track a location we think is going to be absolutely perfect. Now, we've probably, what would you say, about 18 miles and 3/4 tenths we've hiked out here.
Something like that.
We're a ways out. Now, Willie, what kind of trap are you going to be making for us today?
Well, this is really a custom trap that I've developed over the years just by solving common problems that I would have, with my trap. So what I've got here, first of all, I call this my chicken wire snatcher. And what I do is I put down some chicken wire first, okay? Because this is sort of going to insulate it from the ground. And I've noticed that squirrels and stuff will try to tend to stay away from this. And so you put that down sort of as a measure to make sure you're only catching Bigfoot and not other stuff that you don't want to catch.
Now, let me ask you a question here. I ain't an expert like you are in trapping. Now, besides keeping out squirrels, would you say this could wrap up a Bigfoot and kind of wrestle him down a little bit along with a snare, or how's that work?
Well, see, when he becomes entrapped in it, it just makes it all that more cumbersome for him.
Gotcha.
And he can't really figure out how to free himself, and it gives you more time to come and capture him. That's basically the idea of it. So it's really double fold of keeping squirrels out, and then also just becoming a nuisance, if you want to look at it that way, for the Bigfoot.
Makes perfect sense.
Okay, now you got you some 2x4s here. So we're going to place that on top of the chicken wire, and X marks the spot there, but like that, okay?
Makes
and so
perfect sense. He'll see that, kind of come this way.
That's right, and then I'm going to tie a series of knots, something you probably want to go with either a double hoof clover knot or a fisherman's angle on this as far as how you want to make your snare. Okay, so I'm going to rig that up and I'll let Buck get the bait. And you do know a bit about baiting for
Now, I
Bigfoot.
do know a good bit about baiting. I've been baiting probably for, I don't know, since I was a young man, doing a lot of baiting. And so here's the thing, really Bigfoots tend to have different tastes per area. We're up in here in Newhouse, and really these Bigfoot or Sasquatches have a real high need for malt liquor. It's really wild. I ain't never seen that before, but today what I've got here is a nice steel reserve. It's a decent vintage. Not sure what year. I'm going to assume this one. But what we're going to do is after he gets that snare placed, I'm going to crack open this steel reserve. Woo, that's some malt liquor right there. Give that a smell, see what you think.
Ooh.
That's going to catch a Bigfoot. And so I'm going to go ahead and kind of just trickle a little bit around for his homies. Just kind of put it around the area a little right there. Get the smell in. And he's going to get this snare finished up. And then we'll show you a picture of our finished product. Stay tuned. All right, folks. As you can see, we have the trap set. Now, remember, I have poured out some of this malt liquor around the area to put a nice scent. I'm going to leave this here beer just like that.
Right there.
We'll set it up about right here.
Right there.
And that way we're gonna get it to set there. Now what he's gonna do is he's gonna come for this beer here and he's gonna start chugging and he's gonna get a little lit up, a little crazy, a little wild. Step in here if I'm correct, and this snare is gonna jerk him back. And we're gonna have us a Bigfoot and put him on the video camera. So Willie, what you think? We're gonna wait a little while, go hide and do a little camo work and come back and see what we got.
I think so.
Excellent. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back. All right, folks. We've now set that trap and we showed you what it looks like. And right now we've backed off probably about 5 or 6 miles. Give Bigfoot a big wide berth. He's a mean burly joker. And he ain't afraid to grab you and twist y'all up. Now, Willie, let me ask you a question. You said you've lived out here for about 27 years now.
That's right.
Now, have you ever heard one of them Bigfoots give out like a whoop or a holler?
Sure have. I sure have. On a cold spring night when the air is still, you can hear that drifting off through the breeze every once in a while.
Okay.
You sure can.
And now my question is, now I know you're a tracker and not so much a call man, but could you possibly imitate what that call might sound like?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and give us a nice little whoop or holler real quick.
What I've experienced though is sometimes what you have to call to them is not necessarily a mimic of what they're doing to you.
Okay.
But something else and I usually like to give a little ski like that out through the woods, and especially they're like down yonder. Now y'all can't see it on camera, but there's a little dip in a creek, a holler, and a ridge on the on side, and what'll happen is that'll reverberate back against us, and when you get that right tone and pitch, it'll carry through reverberations a long way, and then that'll alert them.
Now, if I ain't mistaken, that reverb, that's them sound nodules that get spread out.
Yep.
When you do that hoop and you hear that little clickety clack echo coming back at you. Okay, getting science. There's a lot of science behind Bigfoot, and you know what, really, Willie? I could have swore I heard a struggle up there. Maybe our trap is set off. What do you think?
It might. Maybe we should go check it here in a few minutes.
Folks, we're gonna go check that trap. We've heard a scuffle up the way, and we might have us a Bigfoot. Stay tuned. All right, folks, we're back here. As you can see, no Bigfoot, but boy, have we had what looks to be quite the struggle. I don't know if you can see it in frame again. We know that you're not experts, but we are. But right here in front of us, we have a Bigfoot track that was made. The can is torn all to heck. The trap's messed up. Willie, talk us through about what you think went wrong, or if we need to change things up in the future. Tell us a little bit about what you think happened here.
Well, I think exactly what happened here is that this, you notice by the size of the track here, that this was just an adult male Bigfoot, a fairly large one. And I think just the tensile strength of our trap was just a little under par for him. I think if it would have been a female or probably adolescent, we'd still have a live Bigfoot right here. And you might be asking yourself, well, how do you know that it was a large Bigfoot or, an adolescent and stuff? Well, Buck and I, through our years of experience and collaboration, have measured footprints and collected a lot of data, and something we have even put together here is a seating chart, or excuse me, not a seating chart, but more like a foot chart of you got your foot sizes and weights and the height of the Bigfoot. And if you think about this, you could use this to determine a lot of things. What's your female versus male population? Adolescence, was it a good breeding year last year? Was they is there a lot of little feet running around?
Lots of little feet up here. Big time, lots of little feet.
Lots of them. And so, this is invaluable. You could just come up with all kinds of scientific congregations using this right here. And we would actually like to make it available to you. Ain't that right,
That's
Buck?
right. That's something that we're going to be working on here soon, is a website for us. We really want to put out a lot of information to you folks, especially you folks that aren't in the know about Bigfoot per se. We want to provide you with all the knowledge books on it. And this here, folks, is true science. It's been tested time and time again. And so we're going to put that out there for you guys to grab up.
And we're going to try to make it available to you free of charge for $19.95 shipping and handling.
Yeah, you just pay the shipping and handling, and we'll get that out to you. We'll meet you at a Dairy Queen somewhere if you want it. If you want it to put a little dirt on there for authenticity's sake, yeah, we'll do that for you. And maybe come up and give you some hair or something we find. We'll throw that in there too. I'd probably be $1 though. All right, folks, what we're going to do now is we got this area here secure. There's a little bit of a trail behind us where he's probably had a hurt leg or something. And we're going to track him a little bit, see what we can find. Stay tuned.
But let's look right here. What we got right here?
Man, what is this?
It looks like we got a species assessment of some scat right here.
Oh, man.
Some fecal matter. And that's the two signs that you see the most out here is tracks and scat. Now, we already had a track up there next to our trap, and now we got some scat. And undoubtedly, we've already tracked this thing maybe.
Good Lord, I mean, we've done it at least 11 and 15 tenths.
I think
I
so,
mean,
since the
it's a
trap.
while.
I mean, you could see where he had like his leg was gimped a little, and he's dragging it. He's about straightened up now. They have quick healing properties, self-healing. But obviously he's had after he consumed what we had in the trap, he's had to defecate here. And you see this, Buck. Would you like me to talk a little bit about?
Tell us a little bit about what to look for in consistency. Is it a musky odor? Is it a chicken crap odor? What kind of?
Well, what you're looking for here is, really, it just depends on the season. I mean, whether it's fall or spring or summer, because of the natural browse that's out here, And so in the springtime, there's usually sort of a musty odor, and it's kind of sometimes dry and hard, kind of what you have right here. But in the fall time, winter time, it could be right soupy. I mean, you just never know.
Pretty tough consistency.
Yeah, it is. Let me see. Now, something I'd like to show you though too. I think he was right there. Something that I found, and I don't just share this with anybody, but for you all folks, I can see a clear track right here on this side of the log. And normally, what happens is Bigfoot, they'll kind of defecate. They'll get down like this right here, and they'll do their business. And then usually, after they get done, they'll give a little leg shake, like this right here on one side.
You're saying that it'll just plop down on the
right.
log like that?
That's right. And then clearly you get a footprint on one side or the other, depending on whether he's left-footed or right-footed. And something else that you got to think about, lots of times when there's scat, that's when you'll find a footprint, because now Bigfoot has big feet. And you may say, well, he's big and he's heavy, but because of the size of their feet, they've got a lesser weight distribution than we do. You got to think about those things. So when you find scat like this, then you can find a track. And if you want to just give that a whoof and smell it, and you can describe to the viewers what you smelling.
That's a. Oh, I ain't scat. That's a Snickers bar.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Snickers bar. I don't. Pretty good. You can see the caramel and nuts in it. Yep. I'm gonna keep it. All right, folks. We're back over here at home base, and one of the last things we want to talk to you about, give you a little bit of information on, is some of the tools and the tricks of the trade, so to speak. Now, Willie has several items that he takes with him about every Bigfoot hunt. I got the same as well, and so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about those items a little bit and why they're useful. And so I'll go ahead and start us off. Number one thing Buck Johnson supports bringing in on the field hunt: toilet paper. Now, Willie, this might be one of the most important items you could probably have out on the field. You never know when nature's going to call and you got a pinch of loaf, and you don't want to be out there and have to cut underwear. I mean, this happened to probably every one of us at least once, twice, or
absolutely,
heck, 18 times probably. So toilet paper is probably my number one pick for being out on the Bigfoot hunt. Willie, what's one of the items that you've brought today that you would say that is on your top list for things to bring on a hunt?
Well, of course, the toilet paper is mine too. You've already covered that, but one thing I just wanted to mention is, just like everybody else, I've got responsibilities, and I want to make the most out of the time that I get to do Sasquatching. And so if you're out in the woods and you hear the nature call, you don't want to run all the way back to home base. You want to make the most use of that time today. So that's
right.
why it's necessary to have everything. Something you never see me out in the woods without is my canteen, is because I want to stay hydrated to stay on the trail for as long as possible, you know.
Now, if I ain't mistaken, that's a tactical model, right?
It is. It is.
So it's got like a quick release feature. It's they got the OD green, so it blends in with your surroundings. You don't want no Bigfoot snatching up your water, leaving you out there to dry. So.
And it's got this pouch on the side for your chlorine tablets as well to make sure your water is sanitary before you consume it.
Solid pick, Willie. Solid pick. Now, my next item I think is really important, and again goes along with that survival means being able to stay out in the cut or the bush as much as possible. This is pretty important here. Bojangles sweet tea. You can't go wrong. It's sweet tea. It's got your electrolytes, your sugars. You got some carbonates in there, and it comes with ice. They don't even charge us for the ice really. They put that in there, and keeps you hydrated. So, Bojangles sweet tea, 99¢. Can't beat it. Buck Johnson pick of the day.
Something else I have. We've talked a lot about science this episode, and so what you always want is something simple, pencil or paper, because you want to record your findings, because anybody could just go out and look for Bigfoot, but when you actually start record keeping, then you know what you're dealing with, and so you always want that in your kit. And I always take leather gloves with me as well. Buck, what would you have to say?
Well, I think the last item that I think is really important for Buck Johnson here, when you're out on the hunt, it can be stressful. You're hearing Bigfoots hollering and crashing and carrying on, and they might be 18, 19, 30 of them, who knows, whooping and hollering around you. You're going to get a little nervous. And what I like to do, keep calm in that situation, is I get me a nice pinch of Stoker's Backer here. This is the wintergreen. It's the long cut. It's got a nice, just decent wood-like flavor here with a hint of wintergreen back here. And that's some premium backer, I believe, and that'll keep you situated real nice like.
Last two things that I have, simple tools. Number one, machete. It's good for establishing and marking your trails in and out and meleeing if you have to. And then also, we didn't demonstrate this earlier. I wish we had. But this is my scat scoop. And so whenever you want to, analyze and then document what kind of scat you got and what their diet is by picking through it, a scat scoop will help you take that thing up and then pick through the acorns or a little bit of corn or whatever else that you can find in that scat. And that's my last tool of priority right there.
Willie, I think that's solid advice. And folks, remember to stay safe out there when you're in the woods. These booby traps, punji sticks, loose children out trying to running around. People don't keep them up these days. You never know. You don't want to run into that. But yeah, folks, again, this has been another episode of Bigfoot Hunting with Buck Johnson and my buddy here, Willie Rydell. We're going to have to make him a regular on the show. He's helped us out today. And stay tuned for more Bigfoot action. Keep on hunting, baby.